We meet at a time of great opportunity for our nation. Our economy is doing better than it ever has before. It was going in the wrong direction when we came on board, and now it's doing better than ever before. We've created nearly 4 million new jobs since the election, which is an unthinkable number. Nobody would have said that was possible. It's going to go up very substantially from there. The African American, Hispanic American, and Asian American unemployment rates have all reached their lowest levels in recorded history. And we're creating manufacturing jobs at the fastest pace in memory. Nobody has any numbers where it's anywhere close to what we're doing. And if you remember during the campaign, everybody said that it was impossible to create manufacturing jobs. The past administration, I won't say who, but I think you know, made the statement that we're not going to have any manufacturing jobs. And we're doing them by the hundreds of thousands. Companies are moving back into the United States. That means jobs, it means production, it means taxes. And really things are great. Yesterday, Larry Kudlow, a man I've respected for many years, that voice, that beautiful voice, I've heard it so many years, talking about financial. And he came into my office and he made a statement that was something that was very beautiful, and I'd like to maybe ask him to say a little bit about what he told me last night. Larry?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. So, look, it's a fairly simple thought. Most good things are. But I'm looking at the media and watching various TV and other outlets talk about stuff that baffles me, what's outside my lane. Here's the key point I made to the president yesterday. I'll make it to you today. I hope we all keep making it. By far, the single biggest event, be it political or otherwise, this year is an economic boom that most people thought would be impossible to generate. Not a rise, not a blip, a genuine economic boom. And everybody wrote us off, going back to the campaign. As was put into place last year and now the follow through this year. And the numbers are coming in, they just keep coming in, which is one of the reasons I tried to get hold of the president on this. I mean, we got 3.1% GDP in the first half of the year, 4.1 in the second quarter. The Atlanta Fed is predicting 4.3 in the third quarter. I think it's a very realistic estimate. Here's a point. Anybody who does political forecasting using the economy always focuses on a number, hang with me, real disposable income. Just think of it as after-tax pay, take-home pay, Ronald Reagan used to say. So that measure is growing at 3.1% last 12 months. When we came to office, it was less than 1% on a 12-month basis. It has jumped. So people say only a few are benefiting. Not true. This is a measure of the entire economy. Everyone's wages and salaries, adjusted for taxes and adjusted for inflation, is growing at 3%. It's a tremendous number. And there's no signs that it's abating. Confidence numbers, large businesses, small businesses, and consumer confidence numbers are at or near record highs, and from the latest surveys are continuing to rise. There's no let-up in the increase, and confidence is everything. Confidence is everything. And I can run down the litany. I'm not going to take up your time. I'm just saying, the really wonderful part of the story for me, I get off on this stuff. I understand that. But it's very important for the country, Americans, the workforce. The new numbers coming in, retail sales, industrial production, low inflation, a rock-steady dollar, trillions of dollars of capital from all over the world is coming into the United States because our economy, our investors, our workforce are crushing it right now. We are crushing it. And And people say this is not sustainable, it's a one-quarter blip, it's just nonsense. Absolutely not. Any business economist worth his or her salt will look at these trends and tell you we're going for a while. We have low inventories, we have rising business investment, productivity is showing the first lift in years. The last number was 1.3% for the year. We haven't seen that in a long time. Businesses are investing, capital goods is booming. It's just a complete turnaround. It's like if you give Americans some freedom to run, they will run. All right, and presidential policy, low tax rates, rollback regulations, open up energy, trade reforms to help the American workforce and the employers across the board. We're not punishing success, we're rewarding success. We're not against businesses, we are for businesses. And we have a president who, in my words, was telling folks to take a rip at the ball, and they're doing it. And again, people may disagree with me, but I'm saying this, we are just in the early stages. We're in the early innings here. We never had a cap goods boom. We're now starting. And we've never seen income numbers like this, again, after tax, after inflation. Policies matter. I mean, America's a free market economy. Ordinary people run our economy, entrepreneurs. That's the beauty of it. But policies matter. And when you change that switch, as President Trump has changed that switch, things are happening that a handful of this thought might happen, but I would not say it was widespread. So I'll just end, sir, and I appreciate the time very much. The single biggest story this year is an economic boom that is durable and lasting and that most people thought was impossible, and they were wrong. And you were right.
Thank you, Larry, very much. Larry, I should end on that. This is always a mistake. Could I ask you one question? China.
Yes.
As you know, China was, for many years, as long as anybody up here, including the media, could remember, China was on a one-way road to becoming the biggest economy and all of that, and we were just going to be left behind. I'd like you to say, how are we doing versus China? And how is China doing? We want them to do well, frankly, and President Xi is a friend of mine. I want them to do well, but how are we doing versus China? How is China doing?
You know, so the latest batch of numbers from China, spanning maybe a good 6 months now, 9 months, their economy is just heading south. Retail sales, business investment is collapsing in China, according to the numbers. Industrial production has fallen and now is plateauing at a low level. People are selling the currency. There may be some manipulation, but mostly I think investors are moving out of China because they don't like the economy, and they're coming to the USA because they like our economy. I'm not a China expert, although I'm boning up as fast as I can. I would just say right now their economy looks terrible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ron. Maybe I could I'll finish off with Secretary Perdue. The farmers, we love the farmers, and you know, our farmers are brave and they're great patriots. And as you know, China sort of attacked our farmers by trying not to buy from our farmers. They know the farmers like Trump, and I like them, I love them. And they are, I hear, despite everything, they're starting to really do well. They got out there like they are. They're incredible patriots, but they're incredible entrepreneurs. And they're selling the coin and the corn, and they're selling the soybean, and they're selling everything at levels that are soon going to be pretty good levels. And you know, our farmers have been hurt for 15 and 20 years. A lot of bad things were happening. And I talk about soybeans, where prior to my election, if you go 5 years back, soybean prices were cut by 50%. So this was happening long before us, and markets are closed. Canada charges us for dairy products 275%, tariffs of 275%, which makes it ridiculous and impossible. But we're taking care of that situation pretty easily. But I'd like to just ask, how are the farmers doing? I'm hearing it's starting to really pick up.
Farmers are resilient, Mr. President. They embody the American values and spirit of entrepreneurship, risk-taking, hard work, and those American values. And we've talked about before, you call them patriots, and they are. Obviously, there are some price constraints right now, but they believe what you're doing in China, as you've tried to indicate to them, will lead to a better and brighter future when we get these trade relationships reestablished, and we believe that'll be soon. I applaud what Ambassador Lighthizer is doing in the conversations that we're having on various fronts, and we think you've got the attention and the leverage of the international community regarding the abuse that American farmers have taken in many places, both tariffs and non-tariff measures, in the EU and in China and many other places, and we think these will be rectified very soon.
Well, the word abuse is a good word, because this country was abused by other countries, both friend and foe. You know, our allies, frankly, did better than many of our enemies when it came to trade. A terrible thing happened for many years, and we're changing that around. In fact, what I will do is I will speak to one more, because I'd like to have Bob Lighthizer just give us a little update quickly on where we are with NAFTA and the various trade deals. I can say this, we're doing very well. I'm in no rush. We want to make the right deal. NAFTA's been a disaster for our country. Mexico and Canada were, if you think about making, or if you think about deficits, we had a deficit of $135 billion a year on NAFTA. You look at New England, you look at different places where factories are still empty. They still haven't recovered. But now companies are moving back. So we're either going to do a good NAFTA, a fair NAFTA for us, or we're not doing NAFTA at all. Where are we, Bob?
Well, I would say, first of all, Mr. President, I would just underline what you say, and that is that we have an $800 million trade deficit, something that's not sustainable over a long period of time. And I appreciate the opportunity to go out and negotiate these deals one at a time. In terms of NAFTA, right now we're meeting with the Mexicans literally as we sit here. And I'm hopeful that in the next several days we'll have a breakthrough. There are still some difficult issues to work on, as there always are at the end.
And by the way, Bob, if we don't, that's okay. If you don't have a breakthrough, as you call it, don't do the deal. Because it's a lousy situation for the United States. We have much better alternatives than that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So if you can't make the right deal, don't make it. All right?
Yes, sir. It's
I only tell them that every day.
It is, yes, sir. I'll attest to the fact that he tells me that.
Yeah, I like the other.
He also tells me what the alternatives are. So, but I think in this particular case, the best alternative may be to get a good agreement.
Okay.
And I think there's a possibility of that. I'm hopeful with Mexico, and then I'm hopeful once we get with Mexico, that Canada will come along. So I feel reasonably good about that, but as you say, there are still some things that have to go through. We have made headway on a number of other areas. We've had, as I told you, some 15 or 20 other smallish agreements that have been helpful for agriculture in other areas. I call them hitting singles. Every time we're at bat, it's not a home run. We're hitting single after single, and literally every few weeks we have one. And there are several, I won't go through now, but there are several that are in play that'll make a real difference to specific people and sectors in agriculture, but in other areas. Korea, as you know, that agreement is finished, and I think it's a step in the right direction. And then we have Europe, where you started an initiative that Larry Kudlow and I are working on, and that is that's a major initiative, and it's something that we're in the process of putting together the kind of team we need to negotiate on tariffs, but on barriers, and hopefully open up a lot of new opportunities for American products to be sold in Europe.
And I think I can say that we're talking to China. They very much want to talk. They are just not able to give us a deal that's acceptable. So we're not going to do any deal until we get one that's fair to our country. EU, we're doing very well. They didn't want us to put tariffs on their cars, and they therefore decided that they were extremely happy with the deal they had. In fact, they told me, we'd rather not negotiate. We're very, very happy with the deal we have. Well, they made $151 billion last year. They should be happy. But I said, but I'm not happy. And so we were ready to do tariffs on their cars, but they came. They saw us a week ago, as you know. Most of you were here. And I think we're doing well, Bob, with respect to the EU. We're negotiating something that hopefully will be fair to them and to us and to everybody. A big difference from what it is now. Right now, it's impossible. They have barriers where we can't get anything through. As far as Mexico and Canada, Mexico, Bob told you about, we're not negotiating with Canada right now. Their tariffs are too high, their barriers are too strong, so we're not even talking to them right now. And we'll see how that works out. It'll only work out to our favor. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.